I'm going to read my poem, The Escarpment. It's laid out in quite a formal way with lines 7, 5, 3 and 1, but the writing is actually much freer. Paper patches in the valley, in every detail, written and recounted, whispered from the yews. The meandering passage from clarity into the intractable, redacted and adapted, reworked and adjusted, rising to cracks and scattered phrases, chucked and splayed like adrift. Here a sunrise seen through spas and industrial spaces. There the underground shifts and areas of growth we will not go near in case the wardrobe door swings open and we see ordinary prosaic items that are outlawed before their time. To climb, to grapple with the dirt unleashed, like a live wire from foreign parts, sectioned by the authorities, out of touch, in a place so distant, so out of experience. You cannot imagine the process, how it could ever travel all the way with no change. One bright Sunday, just before lunch, a noisy roast, crusted in January. There is no provision for any kind of confluence. Even with a sympathetic carrying system you can quite well tap into. In the stacked corners, where heaven knows what is secreted, best not to point as you're never sure, although they do say the area to the north is lovely. All the terraces and ancient associations with the old world, the connections, all brought into a fist, a fid of radish so strong it might hit home. Keep a low protected helmet, just in case, just to hug, to pitch a feather while we wait, you silhouetted against the sound of the sea, masked by those bright huts with boxes of nut bars and banana, bent and determined, even though there is no wind, such quiet in the gorge, the wide arc of the turn, generating clean entreaties like you'd never imagine, the chimneys blacking the sanctimonious cleft. Keep pressing on the chest, the open scullery, where you can hear old rooks in the small of the morning. The nimbus tricked the autumn leaves you had always liked, as though they bristled and cowed under the cart. You just can't be there, because of the folds, the wavelets, canopied in aspic, faster than swallows, ricocheting at such speed in the morning, with the sun rising and setting at the same time. We depend so much on the alleviation of want, just in case, those little assurances we all take for granted, until a crisis looms, and the shivering leaves take on an altered proportion, which you had never conceived possible, walking amongst the roots, people's sleeping feet, careful not to step too near the line, the wrecked churches, the vertical kitchen shelves I had painted and painted, as though life depended on it, the new life, winding from village to village, the sun glinting between the conifers as we clattered and cantered along. We circled the bay and went over the stream, a trickling noise as two stones ruffled the water, the breeze hardly moving in the grass. Weather and concrete, large vehicles seen travelling east, distant sounds of metal on metal, the wooden spade drawn out of the oven, those communal days, polished and placed now on the mantelpiece like home, with hurdles and nervous buying and buffeting in the mist that the sycamores emerge from, with blemished leaves and the dog's head-to-tail shake and tremor in the night? Was I dreaming? But no, you as well. We had tumbled and somersaulted through the dunes, the tank tracks, the resonance of those days we are here because of. And you, Dad, slipped away into a deep pool under singed green cover undulating in the grey light, the guys leaping and lassoing, with ankles catching the sun's first shoots across the well. Light in a time of darkness? Clock it, because these core issues will lead beyond all strife at the far end. The castle moves into the far corner by the winking beacons, the hill fort, where the view takes you way across time, cloud, escarpment, brink, to fly over the bar. Notice the crop lines, how the contours are displayed, the sharp inclination towards endearment, belonging, a good supper given with no strings attached, well husbanded and well made. The chalk horse on the hill, the pencil, graffiti on the underpass, flowers strewn in the early morning, puddled roses, a penetrating loneliness you can touch, reaching through reflections high into the ash, with a cloudscape rising, the highs of the future, led in, homed, always pressed and ready for any hospitality, when that sense of friendship is endorsed and made a fuss of, under the parasol, with tinkling lemonade and iced biscuits, placing them on a carousel, ready for tea. Like a scared cat in the headlights, a quick shape and abruptly gone, zigzagging through the rain-soaked roots, between the toadstools, the rhyming couplets, floating in the harbour, seals strangling, caught in the weather vane, the fox leaping over the sea, strained and nervous, a look I've hardly seen before, seeping into the seasons, apples not to be eaten if they might have a derogatory effect this side of spring, when we will be through this tunnel, the chill and the afternoon dusk. Where is the framework, the place to moor up when the tide is low? How can we progress with an even keel, so each piece is fair, a way of edging on without falling? See the settlements, secret combs, the clear laughter, startling in the rain, the busy streams, bringing wild peppermint and nettles, buttercups and muddy treads where the cows have watered. I wonder at the fragility of our stay, after so brief a time, in view of the limestone, the lichen mapped, the footprint in the bowl, the busy clatter of plates. We will go by the long way, over the shoulder, where snails nestle under the bracken, when the nights are drawing in, and lights come on in the valley. I glance to the left and fleetingly see an owl, snub shape gone in a second. We will not know how best to arrange the mountains, even though we have watched the tides and understand the influences, the flotsam, the bladderwrack, the fluctuating time, the restricted access to the lookout, far flung in March, when the footfall quickens, and all manner of schemes will fall short, but those that hang on, please have a heart, realize the interdependence, the hands clasp, Such a reward, the bounty, the generous world, so long, so far from home, in the morning, admitting that you see a link between the contoured skyline and the brief box on the bus, beyond all ticks and corrections, beyond the final playground, with the broken pram on hot days, when we peeped into the addendum, catching the last laugh, heard far in the distance, in the trees. A dozen busy starlings yesterday, snapping up the last of the rowan berries before careering off across the field. Hold steady, you'll be fine. Look straight ahead, not at me. Yes, a brilliant turn as well. Click. You always talked about the vital role of the artist. Be yourself, not what you think others wish you to be. And then you died, just days ago, so anticipated, yet still a massive absence. But your presence is still here, holding all those clear and funny conversations. We wait for news of the baby, sure that all will be well. A new entrance coming in to take each day afresh. I found your earring under the cupboard, lost for years. Now you may pair it with the other and wear them again. Where will we be when the wind comes? When the midsummer leaves fly and the kestrel can no longer hold its point? How will we be when the massive roots of beeches are jagged against the sky and there are no orchids or orchards? To tiptoe, firmly holding hands, attempting to ignore the faint odour of methane, for all the world, every mountain, scullery, yurt and attic, ticked and penaltied. Take a look at the statistics. We're good at these and can graph every output, all the slights and gestures, none exempt from the implication that we will have no breath, no bread, no necessities. Come out of time, leave the gingham cloth, the curved jug, the well-turned chairs. See how the wind blows, rattling the sashes. We are our great-grandchildren, all the hugs still there, running through the playground, sharp cries of laughter, figuring it all out, all the places you can't go. Because it's too hot to be outside. We have to make the best of it. But wonder how they could have done this to us. There were flowers you could pick. We see them digitally. Come out of time, please consider the arithmetic, the heart of the matter, the crime of petrol, the hands in denial, no sights beyond the months ahead. Polish the chrome, enjoy the respite, carry on, a great relief. Until next time, and we live high enough on the hill, we'll be all right. Until the wind comes, and no kind of battlement will be enough, and all these pages will be leafed and strewn into emptiness above the rooftops, with no directions or kindnesses, no brainwaves, insights or cruxes, no apples, no colouring, no point. primroses trembling in the valley air, the gnarled ash root, reptile limb rising under the bark, the symmetry of the branches, lopped for dieback, new green, shivering in the breeze, the chance of new leaves, new words. Stop here now, this unremarkable place. Listen to the wren. See the brief sweep of a buzzard's wing high above the veiny canopy. No, all this is not some rural sidekick, but the conurbation of breath, of interaction. Watch the sea, the white tracing, filigree and bubble, held and dashed in the same instant, the fragility and the kindless tonnage crashed onto granite and barnacle. Consider the implication of its rising. A power in the ocean. The cowslip, buttercup, crabapple blossom, each an intricate delight to know, to refer to place within our context, the multifaceted nexus of us, our sights and footings, our drains and tar, our flyovers and underpasses, our quiet moments in momentous times, fireflies oscillating in the evening sun. Have a go. Do what you can. It's all we have. Come out of time, climb onto Offa's Dyke and look north towards Prestine and Wenlock Edge. See the sandstone at your feet, the oak far below, half obscuring the old farm, with smoke drifting from its chimney. See the sun squares on the roofs on the edge of town, and far off the turning, tilting windmills, grinding us a little extra time. And there, the Norman chapel, its bell tolling once a month, a place of presence, acknowledgement, and rich tea biscuits. Go gently with us, amidst all our noise, for please, we have only just begun. Straight lines, section by section, in hard light, with brambles and chamomile, shadows on the steel, a reclamation underway, a door lopsided with moss around the handle. See the bleached squares of light far through, a dimness there amongst the tumbled drives and screens. Things don't happen slowly. The quick moment done and held. The fluid markings on beach rocks. The sudden abandonment of workstations. Paper screwed and spilling from a bin. Nettles swaying near the opening. The collapse and shudder of falling girders. Are we watching a film? Or did we work there? Really? There are blackberries inside the window, thorns and soft fruit, and a nail hammered in skew whiff once on the sill. The moment and the long hall are the same. Come out of time, see its punctuations. A flat land, squat offices, the lettering of bent trees, a host of sunflower faces, a dog's run, tick, 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 and then the sudden flash flood, so the sea, carpets, feces, bloated things are lodged in memory. To tap a word, to calculate some data, makes a grim read, but is such a distant view of the time itself. No worries, it's only footage. We're safe as houses. We wear new glasses now, with lenses better tuned to the wider view, but continue on in circles, vested sinkholes, lemmings on the run. Approach the cliff, crouch and enjoy thick clover, find 4 leaves and hold them as a silhouette against the setting sun. Bring 2 feet to dangle over, playfully tap your heels, look closely at the mix of rocks so far below, and know, for all your watching, the blazing sun will set. New ash leaves, crossed fingers flickering against the sun, and far below a field mouse scampers through the mesh of light. There's the buzzard again, much clearer now, soaring in the high air, and another circling together with the life of them. Listen to their calls, an eloquence, an overview, a grip on it all. Take the first flint, first tool, first human movement through a valley, and it is almost now. The mouse has found some seeds. A robin perches watching, and a fox, still for a long time, is barely visible on the edge of the wood. And there's the kestrel, working the valley, swooping and veering and abruptly stopped. Remarkable aerodynamics, to use our word. The kestrel has no idea of its name. To see this place, beyond the shapes of its fields and copses, the straight fences and plough tracks, to pack up our words, our expectations. Look now, the swifts arrive, darting from air to eve, the precision of their journey. Yet there are far fewer. We have so much to respect. Our cat goes out at night, and in the morning tells me things. Today is one of those days when sound seems to come from high up, and you hear distant traffic and planes crossing to and from America, as though there is no tomorrow, with jet fuel woven across the skies. Come on, guys, we can do better than this. See the ash now, new wood emerging, a whole new structure. Let it breathe, let it be. Take the path up the far side, climb the top stile and cross the ridge fields. A hare puts up to my left, and 3 jackdaws head towards the wood, where I am going too. I climb the wood stile quietly, as still as I can, because of my high silhouette. I peep far down, and there amongst a carpet of bluebells are 2 roe deer with ears poised. Come out of time, see its gems and hold them. Listen to those who have very little to say. Join with a stranger on common ground, with no dogma, no this is how we do it, but a quiet touch, a turn of eye. Stepping through this sparkling wood to hear high up a rook's harsh call, welcoming the sunrise.